Good morning. Welcome to another art lesson. We are still looking at perspective, and we've been looking at linear perspective. So under linear perspective, we've looked at 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, and in today's lesson, we are looking at the last type of linear perspective, which is 3-point perspective. Now, 3-point perspective is simply a perspective that uses 3 vanishing points to create an illusion of space or distance on a flat surface. So it's not very different from 2-point perspective, except that with this one there's an additional vanishing point that helps to create that illusion of distance or depth. Now, 3-point perspective is ideal when you're working on, or when you're trying to come up with a composition, or you're trying to create a composition that has a very tall building, that is, and they are standing at a low level. So with 3-point perspective, this will be ideal for that kind of work. So now, just like any other perspective, the first feature when you're working on linear perspective, that is, the first feature that you put in place as you go on with the process of composing is a feature known as the horizon. So the horizon is simply a horizontal line that is drawn across your picture plane. So my horizon will be placed here. It will stretch from this point, and I'll take it up to about this point. So the first feature has been placed. So having placed the horizon, the next feature that I'll put in place, I need to put in place the vanishing points. So the first vanishing point will be placed right on the horizon. I'll fix it here. So I'll call this vanishing point number 1. The other one will come on this end. I'll call this vanishing point number 2. Okay, so since we're working on 3-point perspective, I'm remaining with the third vanishing point. So before I place the third vanishing point, I'll draw a vertical line that crosses over the horizon. So I'll place this vertical line right in the center of the horizon. So I'll place it somewhere here. I'll make the bottom part slightly short. So I'll take it up to, let's say, about this point. So this is how far my vertical line goes. And it crosses over the horizon at this point. Then there's this short distance that is created there. So now, having drawn the vertical line, I need to put in place the third vanishing point. Now, the third vanishing point will come on the top end of the vertical line. So this is where the third vanishing point will come. So I'll call this VP3. So I have something like this put in place. Now, the next thing that I'll do, I'll connect the bottom end of the vertical line with the vanishing points that lie on the sides. Okay, so I'll connect by drawing lines. So I'll draw a diagonal line connecting the bottom end of this vertical line to vanishing point number 1 on this side, and I'll do the same thing on the right hand side. So I'll connect this bottom end of the vertical line with the vanishing point number 2 by drawing a diagonal line. So I'll have something like this put in place. The next thing that I'll do, I need to come up with the end of the structure that I'm working on. So what I'll work on next is, again, this vanishing point that I've drawn here. I'll connect it with the vanishing point that is down below here. So I'll draw a line that will connect the 2 points. So I have this line fixed somewhere here. I'll do the same thing on this side. So this vanishing point will be connected with the vanishing point number 1. So I'll draw that line again. So I'll have something like this. Okay, so this is what I'll have in the end after connecting the vanishing point. So with this in place, my next step, I'll try to add details that will help me through the process of constructing the building, the tall building that I'm trying to come up with. So what I'll do, I'll start by putting marks or points on the horizontal line, the horizon that is. So I'll have a point there. It can be manually done if you want, or you can use a ruler to help you through the process so that you have a more accurate measurement. So I won't measure. This will be manually done. So I have points fixed there along this point until I get to the end of this. I'll do the same thing on this side. I'll put some points or some marks on this other side just to help me through the process. Okay, so my marks have been placed. So what I'll start doing now, the marks that I've put on the horizon, I'll start connecting them with the vanishing point that is on the vertical line, that is vanishing point number 3. So the marks that I have on the horizon will be connected with the vanishing point number 3 by drawing a line. So I'll have a line drawn from that mark. I'll even make it cross down below, so I'll connect it with that. I'll move to the next point, connect it with the vanishing point number 3. So I'll go on with this process until I get to the end. Sorry, I missed this one here, this mark here. So let me just draw a line to connect it to vanishing point number 3. So I'll draw these lines. I'll connect all the points to vanishing point number 3 until I get to the end. I'll do the same thing on the other side. So this is what I'll end up having. I'll have something that looks like this. All the points have been connected to the vanishing point number 3. So I'll do the same thing to this other side. The points that I've put here, I'll start drawing lines connecting these points to the vanishing point number 3 that is on the vertical line, that is. So let me start with the first one. There's a point there, so I'll connect this point to that vanishing point. I'll move to the next one. There's a point there. I'll connect it to vanishing point number 3 until I connect all the points that I have in place on the horizon. So this is what I have now. All the points have been connected to the vanishing point number 3. So what I'll do, remember the first marks that I'd put in place were on the horizon. So the next one will be on this vertical line, the vertical line that is in the center, the vertical line that holds the vanishing point number 3. Let me just darken this line so that you are able to see what I'm talking about. So this is the one that holds the vanishing point number 3. So what I'll do now, I'll put marks on this same vertical line. Like I said, if you want, you could use a ruler. If you want, you could use freehand, that is. So what I'm working on doesn't have, this building that I'm working on doesn't have so many details. It's just a simple building, a simple tall building that I'm trying to work on. So I've put marks on this vertical line. So with these marks in place, what I'll start doing now, I'll start drawing lines, connecting these points with the vanishing points that lie on the side. So like there's a mark there that I've put. I'll draw a line. Of course, with the guide of a ruler, I'll draw a line connecting it to the vanishing point number 2. So all the marks will be connected to that vanishing point. Then once this side is done, I'll have these points, these same points, connected to the vanishing point number 1. Let's just start. So I have this one. That's my first mark is over there. So I'll connect that mark with this vanishing point. I'll move to the next one. connect it to the vanishing point until I connect all the points that I have in place to this vanishing point here. So all the points have been connected on this side. So what I'll start doing, I need to connect these same points to this vanishing point so that I have a similar arrangement like the one I have on this other side. So let me just start. So the first mark is there. I'll connect it with this vanishing point on the left, vanishing point number 1, that is. And I'll move to the next one until I finish all the points that I have. So this is my result. This is what I have in the end. All the points have been connected. I have a structure like this. Now, what I need to do, I can't use the whole thing to be the building or the structure that I'm working on. I'll just pick a small section of it so that I can have my building. Picking everything will make me have a structure that looks awkward actually in shape. So what I'll do, I want my building to go up to somewhere this point here. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll pick this same line as the end of the building wall. Okay, this will be the corner of the building. So let me just emphasize it by darkening this line. So this is what I'm picking. Okay, so I'm done with this side. I'll move to the other side as well. I'll decide how many I need to have, how wide this building should be. Should it go up to this point or should it go up to this point? Okay, so I'm only going up to this point. So using this same line, I'll use this as a corner of the back of the building. So I'll darken this. Let me just emphasize this line. So I have something like this. Then I'll also emphasize the bottom ends of the building. I'll darken it like this. Then with this in place, I have the sides, the bottom. Then I need to decide on how high the building should be. So I can pick one of the diagonal lines that I was using, okay, to get the height. So I want my building to be this high. So this is the line that I'll use to end the building. So I'll emphasize this line by darkening it. So my building ends here. With this in place, I don't need the perspective lines that were guiding me through the process. So I'll erase the lines that are not needed. So this is the reason why your perspective lines need to be faint, because at the end, they will have to be erased. They are not part of the composition, but they were helping you through the process. So my building looks something like this. Okay. Just to give it more details, I still need the horizon. The horizon is part of the composition, so I can draw trees or shrubs that are appearing in the background. So I could have something like this. Okay, maybe more trees just to help me with the composition. I can make this a bit more natural. I can make the horizon a bit more natural. Okay, I could have another tree on this side and add more details later on. So this is what you end up having when you work on 3-point perspective. Okay, so what I want you to do, using the same process that I was using, try to construct a building or draw a building in 3-point perspective. Thank you so much. Until next time.